Hey, Tara.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Manny, how's it going?
Manny.
What's up, people? Hey,
What's
happy
going on?
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes, back at you, brother.
I'm still in vacation mode, so pardon me.
I envy you. You're in a different side. PNC, we don't have the AEP, OEP crap, you know. Y'all get to crush it for like a month and a half and then take a little vacay. I heard you've been doing some amazing things too, Manny. Merwin was catching me up on everything, so it's awesome.
Put things in the works. It's a process, man.
Yep, 100%. Couldn't have said it better.
We're gonna be starting here and give a
Give it
couple
a few
minutes
for
for people
people.
to start coming in.
Yep.
You know how long this is going to last?
So Joe probably should be talking for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna take some Q&A. So we should be done. It's usually half an hour, 40 minutes tops.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it'll be recorded.
maybe even a little sooner than that. I got a loan officer coming into my office at 11:30. So I'm gonna go for probably like 20 minutes, and then we can always, if we need to host a second Q&A, we can do that. Or if it's just us, and we're gonna be nice and intimate, and I'll be able to answer any questions you guys got.
Yeah, and we've got it recorded too. So if you got to hop off early, we'll have the recording posted in.
Right.
Everybody still sleeping from the weekend.
Yeah.
Got Craig coming in.
Mr. Wiggins.
What's up, guys?
How are you, sir?
Hey,
Good.
how's it going?
Are we all in Texas, or is this from all over?
No, I'm in Florida.
Okay.
Craig's in Alabama, if I'm not
Roll
mistaken.
Tide.
Shameless plug. Tara, where are you from?
North Dakota.
North Dakota. Okay. And are you in life and health, PNC, both?
Life and health.
Got it. Good to know. I don't know if I know anybody out of North Dakota, which is, I know a lot of agents. So I'll put you down on the list. Now I've got somebody I know I can send some business to in North Dakota.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'll always take it.
That's kind of like perfect in alignment of the title too, right? It's like, I'm going to put her in my network now because I don't know anybody there.
People
Good
starting
old
to roll in.
referral partners.
Yep. Let's give it like one more minute and then we'll kick off. That, or I could just throw my new producer in the fire and see how he does with interviewing a potential loan officer referral partner. Best of luck to you, man.
Throw them in the weeds. All right, you could get rolling. Let's start it up.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for taking the time to hop on. Victor, as they start joining, he'll just keep letting people in, guys. So if you don't know me already, my name is Joe Kampert. We are PNC heavy, but are also operating in the life and health space now as of this year. That's going to be a little bit of what I talk about as far as how we even got into that and how network was a big piece of that. But again, my name is Joe. We're operating out of Austin, Texas, but we are writing business in 30 plus states. Again, PNC heavy, but are definitely seeing the money to be made in life and health. So that's why we started venturing into that space. So thank you guys for hopping on the call. This is typically how I kick off anything that I'm coaching on, speaking at, whatever is. You showed up, right? And I think that's one of the first keys to success is just literally showing up, right? So thank you guys for taking the time. And I hope that you find some value in everything that I'm about to cover. Again, we're going to go for about like 15, 20 minutes. So it's not going to take up too much of your time. That is the purpose of these workshops, is that they're quick and concise, but jammed with value. Okay. So again, I hope you guys find something in that. I'm going to go for about 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to open up for a little bit of Q&A at the end. And then obviously you can always message me privately on Facebook if we need to hop on a separate call or anything. Okay. So
also before you get started, also we'll have this recorded as well. It'll be in the insurance growth workshops page. So if you do have to hop off early, you can catch the recording in there and also put questions in there if you do leave early as well.
Yep. Awesome. Good. Cool. So how I'm going to kick us off, guys, is anybody that's ever heard me speak to, you always know I typically like to start with a story, right? Some type of testimony. Facts tell, stories sell, right? So I'm going to kind of kick off with that and just a little bit of just where I come from. And again, we're going to be covering how your network is your net worth. And I think it's important to go back to where I started and what the network was then, or what I thought was a network, right? And then how it's obviously grown to what it is today over the years, right? So how I literally was, now granted, don't get me wrong, I was raised right. I was blessed with two amazing parents that really cared the world for me and my brother, but we really didn't ever come from much. There was a time in our life to where, now granted, I was always excited because I got like free school lunches, and I don't know if anybody else felt this way. I always felt like kind of weird bringing my own home lunch, or I felt like the broke kid at the table if I brought my home lunch. But it came to the point when we were literally had not enough money to where I got free lunches, right? So we came from a very humble upbringing, but also something to where I think it was kind of a mindset. That's how a lot of us were raised, is that, you kind of just go through the motions. You go through grade school, you go through high school, you get your GED, right? Then you go to college, you get a good degree, and then you get a good job, and then everything else is gravy, right? That is not my story, but I think it's how it started. Again, for me, it was a mindset of, I didn't really come from much, so I wasn't ever expecting a lot, right? And even when maybe I had a little, that was a lot to me because I had come from little, right? So, and I know that, and I hope some of y'all kind of get where I'm going with that, is that even if you're at a little now, it doesn't have to be where you stop, right? And I think where that changes is your network, right? The people that you are surrounding yourself with that are allowing yourself to open your eyes to not only your own potential, but also the potential in this amazing industry that we're in, right? I can't tell you, and I wouldn't suggest any other freaking insurance or any other industry other than insurance, because of what it's able to do, not only financially, but also for others around you, right? So personally, but also for your downlines. So if you're in the life and health space, like how you can impact your downlines' lives. For PNC, it's not necessarily the same thing, but it kind of is, right? But I really, truly believe that this industry can change not only your life, but everybody's around you. And that's why your network is so important. So I'm going to backtrack just a little bit until we get into what Redwood Agency Group is our agency name now. But I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I think a lot of people, when they hear network is your net worth, they only think of like millionaires. Like we got Craig Wiggins, right? Anybody who doesn't know Craig, go ahead and add him because you want him in your network, right? But I think when we first start, if we don't have a Craig Wiggins, right, or a Mike Callahan or a Manny in our circle or in our network, right, then we feel as though like we're inferior, right? Or like, and I just want to put out there that your network can start with one referral relationship where I've never met anybody in North Dakota and I'm going to start sending business to Tara, right? So it can always start with one person. Doesn't have to be kind of like what I'm going to go over in how an event and how I got surrounded by a killer network in one event. It can start with one person as well. Okay, so I want you guys to change that mindset too, is that it's not always just going to be like, hey, I'm surrounded by millionaires, right? I think it goes down to finding the right people to surround yourselves with. Even if you start small, you can always grow together, right? And that's if you guys have ever heard me teach on our House of Dreams here at Redwood, I call that your tribe, right? People who are going to have your back, people who are also going to check you, right? People who are going to push you to that next level, right? So having somebody in your network that is totally cool with mediocrity, I probably don't want them in my network, right? Because my mindset is I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to get into the rooms with like in big thing for me this year or in 2022 is 8% Nation. Shout out Cody Askins. Ed Milet's going to be there. If you guys don't know Ed Milet, go follow him. I want to be in the room with freaking Ed Milet. I want that guy in my network, right? So if I've got somebody who's cool with making, whatever it is, they're cool with the salary, they don't like the commissions, whatever, I want to level up, right? So I encourage you to think about that. If you have a current network in place, are they pushing you to get better? And is it just once a year? Is it once a week? Is it once a month, right? Really think about that, because I think when you get the right network in place, it's a daily thing, right? Like when I look at the people I talk with, and I'm going to go ahead and segue into this. It's called the OG Power Players event, and this was the eye-opening event for me, right? And I think networks work both ways, right? Where I think also we have a very positive connotation to your network is your net worth. There's also a very negative piece of it too if you have the wrong people in there, and that's where I come from. I had the wrong people in my network. I wasn't ever seeing like that, hey, this thing is possible, that I could be making six figures in this business, if not seven figures. And that ultimately changed when I got into the right network and when I surrounded myself with those people. Okay, so it was the Power Players event. This is the crazy thing too. This is why I love insurance, is how fast you can change your life and your financial stability within insurance, right? For me, I'm starting to see kind of like, and it's crazy because it's just 3 years. I swear I blinked and 3 years went by, right? And any of the successful people that I've seen in this industry that have really scaled fast and efficiently, they've been able to do so in 3 years. But again, even if you've got the most baller work ethic, you do things the right way, you've got a killer lead source. If you're doing it by yourself and without people, you will start to become stagnant, or you're not going to be hitting levels of what you could when you have those people again in your network, right? So for me, I went to Power Players. It was just the most eye-opening thing because I had never been in a freaking room where everybody but myself was making freaking millions of dollars, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, shoot, man, like, I just made like 50 grand this year, right? And I just never, I guess I just had never thought it was possible to drive that much revenue, in this business because of who I'd been surrounding myself with. And it was like, I was cool with the 50K, right? And then you get in a room, y'all, and I'm not talking trash on any of that. Like, I think that is a very humble start, right? To where you got to make 50K before you can make 100K. You got to make 100K before you can make a mil, right? And so for me, it was just very humbling of like, okay, shoot, this is possible, right? And getting in that room. And I always, you guys, anybody that knows me, I push events. I think that was the one thing, and that was 18 months ago, to where literally because of getting in that room with a Cody Askins, with a Nate Offert, with a Pete Fournier, with a Justin Brock, with a Brad Hannon, Ryan Nutter, Ron Ray, like Tony Merwin, I could go down the list, right? To where every single one of these people were bringing in, if not seven figures, very close to seven figures, right? And so we go to that and we're just like the smallest fish in the room, which I love, right? I always, if you're the top dog in your network, you should probably filter out some people too, right? Because that means then you're starting to get stagnant. Nothing wrong with being a leader in your network, but you always want to have those people again that want to help level you up, right? So, but getting in that room, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, dude, like, look at, like, what are we freaking doing? Now, comparison kills. So if you got somebody in your network that's making billions, like, don't be like, man, I am just total trash. And now that was kind of me. When I got back from that event, and sometimes it can feel like an island in this industry, right? I didn't know if we were doing good or not. Like, we were riding maybe close to 100K, and that was in PNC. So we're only getting paid like 10% on that. I thought we were doing decent, right? But then you get in a room where these guys are selling like you know, 100K every 2 days, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm shit. Like, I'm so bad, right? But it was a learning moment where we were able to come back. I run the business with my father, and we were really able to take nuggets. But then here's the most important thing, I think, when you're trying to develop a network, and especially those of people who are of high net worth, you got to follow up with them. Right. So for me, I have a group chat with every single person that I met at that event, and I blast that group chat. I'm staying in front of them, right? To where that's how it started, to where now I've got all their personal numbers. We're really good buddies. I'm able to refer business. They're able to send me business. And again, being around those high level individuals, you start to figure out how they operate, right? And what they're doing to really find that success. And I think it sometimes, guys, it can be so simple yet overlooked, right? Like just getting in that room and using the same skills you would to sell a client. Why aren't you doing that to build a relationship, right? If that relationship is really important to you, or if you want them in your network, then why aren't you following up with them? Why aren't you getting in front of them? Why aren't you getting their number and wishing them Merry Christmas, right? And checking in on them to see, hey, is there anything I could do to help your business, right? And that is a true powerful network. Okay, so that Power Players event, that was 18 months ago, guys. Okay, so 18 months ago, and this is the amazing thing, which I'd never, again, we just blink and then it's like, holy crap, like here we are, right? But we had 5 people going to that event. It was this past August. Okay. So yeah, probably, so not even, okay, no, it is, yeah, about 18 months ago. So we go, and we had 5 total people at Redwood Agency Group. Okay. 5 total. That's including our service, myself, my father, and then like literally 2 other people, right? We go from 5 to being in that room to now we're over 50, right? We've got 53 agents now in the organization, and we did all of that within the past 12 months of scaling, right? And that was due to, again, the help that we received from, hey, you guys are thinking way too freaking small, right? Like you're sitting on gold right now. Why are you not doing anything with that? And that was because of the lack of our network. Beforehand, we were sitting on gold. We just didn't know it, right? Nobody was telling us that we were. And so again, one event, one group setting totally changed Redwood to where, again, I come from nothing. You know, I was making $30,000 a year to where like this past year, I'm paying like over $40,000 in taxes, right? And that to me, now again, I'm not near where I want to be. I'm not near at that level of these people that I'm trying to pursue that are in my network. But everything that it's done, not only for my personal brand, my name, right, but also for Redwood Agency Group, it has totally and completely put us on the freaking map. And it was all from one event and getting around people that are just thinking bigger. And again, I know that some of this may feel a little redundant. It may seem like, man, this is so simplistic. Everybody always preaches this shit, right? It's just like, hey, your network is your net worth, right? But there's so much more to it than just like shaking hands and smiling, right? For me, it is about that follow-up. It's about believing and pushing to level yourself up. So again, we went from 5 staff to 50 plus in less than 12 months. Okay, from 30K a year to $40,000 more just in taxes that I'm paying. And here's kind of how I'll close. Is if you don't have a network, right? And I know I was touching on this right at the beginning of the call. This call right here is where you can start that, right? Tanner, you want to connect with me, man? Let's connect. Let's shoot a message to each other, right? Let's look at and here's another thing about the networking, excuse me, your network. If it's all give, and you don't get anything, then you're in the wrong network, right? Like for me, like if I'm going to go and I reach out to Tanner, hey, he's got his video on. I like people that are participating in calls, right? It seems as though he's receiving my information. I want to connect with him. If he can't do anything to benefit me and I can't do anything to benefit him, it needs to be a reciprocal relationship. Then there's no point, not to say that we can't be friends, right? But it doesn't have to be that we're in the same network. Now, I'm not saying that, Tanner, message me, dude. I'd love to connect and we can talk some shop, right? But it can start on calls like this, right? Or think about, how did y'all hear about this call? The way that I took the ideas from my network, right, and how to grow and scale a team and how to start writing. We were writing like 75,000 a month to now we're pushing over 700,000. And my goal by the end of January is to be writing over 1 million a month, right? Like last week, we wrote freaking 100K in 48 hours. And again, this is PNC. So anybody that's not in PNC, you're probably like, oh, you know, life and like it's way different, but like 100K, and this is like our very slow season. And I'm telling you, it's because of that network that I got in on how to coach people, on how to, again, build a winning culture. All of that can be driven from your network. So again, you can start right now, and then the most powerful tool that I found with how I've scaled my business is Facebook, right? Josh is on the call here. He's one of our agents, amazing guy, and I found him literally through Facebook, right? Through a referral from a Facebook, and then he became part of the network because he's a good guy and he's trying to do really good things, right? And then so my last bit, guys, when you're building out this network, okay, there's like a couple components that I've seen that have made people kind of, they view it as an owner to owner type of network is your net worth, right? And so I'm going to give you an example of this. I just started a travel men's softball team here in Texas. It's like anybody that plays slow pitch softball, it's like the USSSA. I don't know, I'm using it for marketing and stuff like that. But again, I think a lot of us view as a network is in, hey, I've got to connect with other business owners. Right. Well, that softball team that I was playing league ball on Thursday nights turned into something a little bit more. Turned out I actually really liked some of the guys. Turned out that one of the guys actually became a staff member, and he's absolutely freaking destroying it. Right. Like, I mean, the guy's already selling trucking insurance in his first week. We already got a yes for a $28,000 policy. Right. So I also want to challenge that in your mindset as well, as that this always doesn't have to be owner to owner relationship, right? My network is my net worth, but it is. And if I was able to get Austin into my network and for him to be producing business under the Redwood codes, then that's part of my net worth and he's part of my network, right? So don't just limit yourself to only, hey, I can only talk with Joe, or I can only talk with somebody who, again, owns a business. You can add people in that network where, again, it's reciprocal, it benefits both parties. So why would I not be doing that, right? And then, yeah, so that's kind of my last bit. How I typically close too is life is a commission. I know that's not really necessarily like your network is your net worth, but that's something that I've been preaching recently, is that don't just view the commission as a dollar sign. Okay. For me, I think the relationships that I was able to build through the network are what actually drove the net worth up, right? To where I wasn't going into that Power Players events. I just make me money. A relationship is a commission, right? Getting to personally know somebody and their family and or maybe even creating a relationship like with their staff members where like, man, these guys are freaking awesome. That it's just, again, life is a commission. Don't ever associate a commission with just a dollar sign. And I promise you, when you go into a group or an event setting, or you're starting to try and reach out to people on Facebook, approach that as in just wanting to get to know them, seeing if it works for both parties. And then I promise you, relationships will be driven from that. And we're in a relationship business, right? And I truly believe that when you're pouring into people and it benefits both parties, the net worth is going up exponentially, right? And for me, we went from writing literally like not even 100K in a month to now we're trying to write 1 million. And that was literally in a year, guys. So that's pretty much all I got. I hope you guys are able to find some value in that. Was trying to go pretty quick. Anybody have any Q&A? Maybe Q&A or any just kind of like insights to add?
So before we even go into Q&A, I do have a question for you. So for everyone that's on this call right now, what would you say if you're beginning to build your network, right? Because I believe wholeheartedly that like building your network is your net worth, right? It wasn't until I started aligning myself with some of the, the bigger names in this industry that I started to see success that I've never saw before, right? That's kind of always been my trajectory of getting with, the power players in this industry. So what are the 3 characteristics if you were to be starting all over again, right? And building your network to success and to get on the fast track to success and really aligning yourself with the right people? What are the 3 characteristics that you look for or you would be looking for when building your network?
Big thing for me was somebody doing something that I'm not already doing. Right. And even if it's that as drastic as literally I do PNC and you do life and health, right? I want diversity in my network. So I think that was a big thing for me, is I don't want to go and just find somebody else that's really good at PNC, right? Like I'm trying to do something different than just be good at PNC. So I think that's definitely something, is to look for diversity in your network. Big one I already touched on is mutually beneficial, right? Like if it's just where again, it's a give, and I'm not getting anything back, then that's only hindering me and growing my net worth, right? So definitely keep that in check. And then I'd say the other thing, man, is honestly, just find somebody who doesn't feel as though they know it all, right? Like, I think that's also another, like, get in with people who also want to learn, right? Maybe that ties into the mutual benefit. Not really though, because I think to me, it's find somebody that's not too prideful to want to network with you, right? Like when I went into that room, like it was kind of hard for me to act as though I knew what I was talking about when I was only making freaking like 60, 70,000 in a year. And all these guys are like making that like every single day. And it was kind of like, man, should I even be in this network, right? But again, comparison kills. I think you need to surround yourself. That just goes back into that too, where not to join something where it's like they're too prideful, like they're not going to swallow that pride pill, and like maybe there is something I could learn from Joe too. So I think that kind of sums it up. The big one is that diversification though. I mean, that's like huge for me, right? It really is what's kind of, now we're like getting into the acquisition space and like it's all of that from freaking just networking. And also, I guess I'll say this too, guys, when you're building your network, never say no to a conversation, because you can always say no at the end of a conversation. Always say yes, have the conversation, and you'll never know what can actually come from it. And that's some of the newer things that we've gotten into. It literally started for me just sitting next to a dude at an event, having a conversation, and then what do you know? Now we've got a lot of things, cooking for the new year. So.
Awesome. So if anyone has any questions, you could unmute yourself, or if you don't want to, you could put some questions in the chat, but now's the time.
Anybody got anything? I'm taking a picture for marketing purposes, so I'm not putting this up in my bedroom and staring at you guys. Another thing too, for you guys, if you are wanting to look at networking just in general and getting your kind of name out there, go join the Insurance Syndicate is my Facebook group. I had somebody messaging me on how to best connect. I don't know, I need to purge my friends list still because I'm at 5,000. So I got room for 2, right? So if you guys want to friend me on Facebook, do it now, because otherwise I'm going to be at the 5,000 cap. But again, the group is called the Insurance Syndicate. Tons and tons and tons of value, gold nuggets, insights, and it's all free. I mean, that's the other thing too, it's free, guys. Like, there's no point to not get in there. And there are some very high net worth individuals in there. So go join the Insurance Syndicate. I'll let you guys in. And again, I hope you guys found some value in what I shared this morning. All good? All right, everybody. Thank you guys. Victor, we good?
I do have one question.
Okay, what's up?
I guess, where do you draw the line between, when you're, as far as Facebook, between personal and business? Like, do you just, it feels like you need to draw the line there.
Mm-hmm. As far as like, when it comes to building the relationship of like, am I doing this at a personal level, or like, am I doing this to seek out like a business relationship? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. And also, because you never know who your friends on your friend list might actually turn out to be business partners or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah. So how do you?
So my actual insight on this, right? And I was actually just talking with a guy this morning. I always actually start at the personal level. Hey, how are you? What's going on? I always will start at a personal level, because I want to make sure that I actually like you as a person, that your character is actually in alignment with like who I want in my network. So I would actually start on the personal side. And if you end up liking them and you kind of feel that synergy, and you can instantly tell when you feel synergy, right? That is when I would start to maybe push it. Hey, dude, we should hop on a Zoom and like just talk shop about everything we got going. And then maybe let's see if we can turn it into a business relationship. Again, referring back to that, always at least just say yes to the conversation. But I won't ever start at that point. Like, even if I'm like with our agent owner program and I'm bringing on agent owners, like, I don't care if you're a badass producer. I don't care. Like, I'm actually hopping on a call with you first just to make sure I like you and I can like work with you every day, type of thing, right? Because if you don't like them, like you're not going to want them as a business partner or in your network either, right? It gets a little awkward. Does that answer you?
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and Manny, I'll add to that too. What I would say is obviously on Facebook, you only have a certain amount of friends, right? Like Joe's perfect example, he only got 2 slots, right? So you only have a limited amount of spots for friends that you can add on to your list. So it's super important that like as you start reaching that threshold, that you start becoming very strategic on who you're bringing into your friends list. It's kind of like your calendar, right? Like your time is your most valuable asset, right? So you want to have your calendar filled with people who are valuable and going to provide value, and you can provide value to. So you don't want to be filling up your calendar with people who are going to be wasting time, right? So it should be the same thing with your friends list, right? So if you have a target like demographic in mind that you want to build your network around, those are the people you should be adding on to your friends list on Facebook. And as you start getting to that point where you're about to reach that threshold, if you have friends and family and that kind of stuff on your Facebook profile, like don't be afraid to remove them. Like they're not going to stop talking to you because you remove them on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, when we're in business, there's no better platform to make money on outside of maybe TikTok's on the rise, but like Facebook is the foundational piece where the money is at. So friends and family, like they'll understand, like you didn't unfriend me because you
And
hate me. You unfriended me because you're trying to
And we'll
make
be
money
going
and it's a
over
business.
Manny, especially because you're in Texas, man. I'd love to see you at that insurance growth workshop. Victor is running some insurance growth workshops, guys, in Austin, Texas, January 15th. It's called the Digital Frontier Workshop. So it's myself, and our lineup is freaking star-studded just on everything that we're doing. Basically, like what I'm talking about now, and how you can build that digitally, because it's the world that we live in. So definitely check that out. We'll drop that link in the event page too. I know Victor will, and maybe he'll drop it with the recording of this. But definitely, if you guys want to really do a deep dive, and it's a workshop style event, so it's not like I'm like going rah, right? Like I'm actually very excited. I'm going to show you guys how to literally control like hundreds of thousands of dollars by basically creating a Facebook group and mining other groups. It's like, I'm super excited. I don't even know if I've told Victor yet, but I'm going to show y'all how to become the money man, literally just by freaking getting on Facebook and using some of those strategies. So Austin, Texas, January 15th. Would love to see you guys there.
Hey, go ahead and drop the discount code with the link.
Yeah, no.
I know
For
Victor will
anyone,
do it
whoever,
too.
yeah, for anyone who's on this call, I'll drop a discount code on there for you guys with the link. So I'll put the replay on there, and then I'll put the link with the discount on there.
Dope.
I'll let Joe choose the discount percentage.
Ooh, yeah.
So whatever Joe wants. So
we shall see. Awesome, guys. All right, I got to bounce. Really appreciate y'all. Again, thank you guys for showing up. First key to success, first key to freaking building a network, right, is talking with people and showing up to the call. So thank you guys. I hope you found some value in that. Again, Insurance Syndicate, go follow Insurance Growth Workshops page if you're not already. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week. And let's crush it to end out 2021, baby. Let's go. I'm hyped.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
and
you guys.
if you guys have any questions that come up in the meantime, when we post the video, just post questions in there, and I'll make sure that we either myself or Joe gets on it and responds to it.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
See you later. Thanks, guys.